What's good? It's Elijah Blake, and you know I got soul.
Career. I was reading in 2008. You know, you had the MySpace page. You were putting your music on there. You know, and you were building up a fan base that way. Eventually, Troy Taylor took notice of you. How did that whole situation happen?
Oh man, at that time I wanted it so bad, and I didn't have any relationships, and I just it's still crazy to me that some of the people I work with and that I'm cool with. I remember, like, you always in the back of your head be like, yo, I just hope they don't remember that this is the kid that used to blow their inbox up and like spam them to death, like check out my music, you know what I mean? Because there's like a mutual respect now. But I feel like I would put up these songs, and you know, I just would kind of just try to get them out there. And then when people started really rocking with me, it was really this song called Anniversary. And Troy, you know, hit me up. He was like, "Are you writing this?" Because at the time I was like 15, 16. He was like, "You sound good." He's like, "But like, it's crazy that you could sing. Most people could do one of the other." He's like, "You're 15. You're writing the word. How did you experience this stuff?" So we kept in contact, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna help develop you because you don't even know how talented you are and how dope you are because you're just doing it to do it." You know what I mean? And I wanted to be heard so bad. I would put up half-ass songs and like just really quick vocals, you know what I mean? So then at one point I just started doing originals on YouTube, and I got really popular on YouTube to the point where YouTube made me and my pops a partner. When they first started the partner program, like, we was like amongst the first batch because we were bringing in so much views. So when they first tried it out, they selected a couple people, and so one of the labels reached out and just you know, I woke up one morning and I just told my dad. I was working at Blockbuster, and I was just like, man, I just want to do music. I always would get in trouble with my boss for singing in the aisles, and people would be like, yo, can you help me find such and such a movie? And I'm like, the same way I'm going to find it is how you're going to find it. It's in alphabetical order. Let me just sing my song. I have my headphones on. So they would call the corporate office and be like, that's this young guy in there who's just singing and he don't want to help nobody out. So, and a couple people would be in this, there was those people who was upset, and then there were the people who would come up to me and be like, yo, like, with a voice like that, why are you in Blockbuster? So after a couple of run-ins like that, I just was like, you know what, I either go for it or I don't. So I just quit my job. My dad thought I was crazy, but he was like, if you're gonna do this for real, let's take it there. We did original songs, and a label reached out and was put me in the studio, and it just happened. They wanted to sign me as an artist. They didn't believe I was writing the songs. They asked my dad. They was like, so who's really writing these songs? My dad was like, he's writing them. He was like, your 15-year-old son's writing them. You're not helping him at all. He's like, no, he's writing these songs by himself. So they would put me in rooms and see if I was really writing these songs. And it was like, well, you know, we don't really believe that he's writing these songs, but we mess with him as an artist. So we're gonna send him down to Atlanta for a development deal. And at the time, they sent the video to Troy Taylor, who's already kind of keeping in contact with me, and they said, I think this kid's a star. What do you think? And Troy was like, this is the kid that I was trying to tell you about. So he's like, please, I think this guy is special. When you bring him down to Atlanta, let me be a part of the project. And ever since then, Troy's been kind of, you know, him and my dad kind of teamed up and really helped to develop my songwriting skills. At that time, I was so churchy. I wanted to do runs everywhere, and, you know, like, do vocal acrobatics, and you couldn't really get the message of the song. So like, they helped tame that where it's still tasteful. I can still go where I want to. So I owe a lot of props to Troy Taylor and my pops for all that.
And then after you linked up with Troy Taylor, he hooked you up with Trey Songz. You know, you wrote the song Jupiter Love for him on his album. So how did you go from, you know, being an artist yourself to doing writing? Because you started writing for more and more artists after that. You know, how did that go?
Honestly, I'd be lying if I say that, like, I grew up saying I wanted to be a songwriter. Like, I guess it was kind of selfish of me. I just felt like I had a story to tell, and I wanted people to hear my music. And I didn't have a budget. I was on a development deal kind of thing, and I'm just the type of dude that's like, I'm gonna make a way out of no way. So I was writing songs for myself. And one time, I remember Trey approached me, and he was like, I think you're an amazing singer. He's like, that goes without saying. He was like, but to be as young as you are, he's like, you have a gift for songwriting as well. And he's like, right now you don't really understand it. He's like, but I really want you to pay as much attention to your songwriting as you do with your singing, because you practice around the house and practice your notes and everything all the time, but you just write like it's nothing, and it's amazing. He's like, so I want you to, you know, really hone your craft as a songwriter. And I'm just like, in my mind at that time, I just was like, man, I'm just trying to get this album done so I could get my record deal and put my music out so that I could pay songwriters to write songs for me. And he came to me one day, he's like, I want you to write. He's like, matter of fact, write me this, I want a song like this, write it for me. And he was like, and we started messing around with ideas, and then Jupiter Love came about.
Nice.
And so I will always have respect for Trey in that aspect, because it was never anything like, look at this young dude who think he doing it. Like, Trey always, like, from the beginning took me under his wing. It was like, yo, like, I think you're dope. Any advice you need? It was more like a big brother type of thing. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Eventually, you got a chance to write a song for Usher, "Climax," the #1 single. You know, huge single for Usher on the R&B side of things. How big was that for you in your career?
That was big because for me, like growing up, it was Michael Jackson, then Usher for me. So when Michael Jackson died, I just kept thinking, like, I do not want another one of my icons to pass without me, as things were progressing for me, without me getting the chance to like rub shoulders with them and, you know, just kind of have a chance to be a part of their legacy and, you know, intertwine our legacies together. So when I got the chance to work with Usher, I was determined for us to come up with the best song ever. His first words to me when I got to the studio was, he was like, we walked into the studio, he was like, what y'all here for? And me and my pops was sitting there, and we looked at each other like, damn, we done flew all the way here, and they didn't even tell them we was writing together. And so we just mumbled like, I thought Walter said this stuff, and I thought the publisher, you know. And he was like, nah, wrong answer. He's like, we here to make history, man. I was like, I'm down for that. So, and Climax, you know, as long as it being one of his like longest songs at #1, if not the longest song at #1, is a blessing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think it was gonna. I was hoping to get a song on an album or something. I didn't think for it to, like, it was gonna impact culture and do what it did.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, now you're signed to Def Jam by No ID.
Yeah.
How'd you link up with him? How did he find you?
Man, No ID was telling me that when I started making a name for myself in LA, I was actually, when I left from working with Usher, I had so much creative energy built up. I just wanted to put it into the form of a mixtape, because Usher really would be like, man, I think you're a star. Like, he would show me love in the artist aspect of things as well. So, and a couple people like me and Miguel bounced ideas back and forth. So like I'll play music and he'll play me some songs, and we would share like different songs that people probably would never even hear. So I had all this creative energy built up. So I went back to LA. I was like, I'm doing a mixtape, and a lot of my A&R homies and everybody who knows, like, who's in the music industry as well, they're like, man, let's hear this music. You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's not done yet, but this is just something I'm messing with. And they were like, bro, you're gonna give this away for free? I'm like, yeah, I feel like it's that good. They was like, you're crazy. So a couple A&Rs was like, I'm gonna put my deal on the table. What you gonna do? I was like, I'm gonna put my mixtape out. So my management at the time called me, was like, well, one of the labels put a deal on the table. You gotta go through it. You at least have to get a counter offer, because now the ball is rolling. So I found a label I thought I was gonna end up with. We was like really close to signing that deal. It was about to happen, and then out of nowhere, I guess with No ID, everybody kept playing them. Like, he would hear songs sporadically over time, and he'd be like, who is that kid? And he'd be like, oh, that's him. And No ID was like, well, I want to meet him. And no one would ever be able to get in contact with me. So one A&R played him a song of mine, and he was like, call him right now. So I'm like, it was a random day. I think it was like a Sunday or something. I get a call, and it's like, yo, No ID wants to talk to you. I'm like, I didn't even know this guy knew who I was. So I'm like, hell yeah. You know, I'm running all on the balcony, making sure my signal good, like, so the call don't drop. So I'm on the balcony, and he's like, yo, man, like, you're dope. Like, every time I hear a song, I'm like, who is this person? And, you know, I'm really picky. He is very picky. So he's like, come by the studio tonight. I got something special I'm working on. I need your help with. So I came by the studio that night. It was actually, he had an artist named Snow that he wanted to be and he was developing. And I wrote a song for her. And when I went in the booth to do the demo, she was like, wait a minute. She was like, you sing like that? She's like, you have the whole package. Like, what's going on with your deal? And I was like, you know, I'm actually about to wrap up my deal. And She was like, really? And so then his wife, you know, was like, I want to hear some of your music. What does it sound like? You know, not at the time I didn't know No ID just got it. He had got his executive position at Def Jam like a few days prior to that, if not sooner. So she's listening to it, but she's not telling me why. She's just like, let me hear what your sound is, and I played it for her. And she was like, hold on 1 second. And No ID comes in the room, and he's like, let me hear this music. So then, and he's really tough to please. Like he'll like something and just give you a straight face, and you just be like, what you think? So he heard it. He was like, so what you doing with this? He's like, this is special. What are you gonna do with this now that you know that it's special? I was like, I think I'm going somewhere. He's like, hold on, slow down now. He's like, I did just get a position, and I do have, you know, I do have a label that I want to have dope artists, and I'm just very picky, and I want my stuff to be about art. So in my head, I'm thinking like, this is dope. At least I get to work with them, but this other deal is so far along, it's not gonna work out. And me and No ID had another meeting, and I played him some more songs, and he was like, man, like, I work on special stuff. He's like, you can go. He's like, I think you're gonna be a star regardless. You can go to these other labels, and they'll put you out. He's like, but I want to build you and brand you and, you know, develop you even more and make it something special. Like, I don't want you to just be another artist. Like, I get this and I know what this is. And, you know, rightfully so with the people he's been behind with Kanye West and Common, like, that goes without saying. So I prayed on it, and I ended up, and I went and met the Def Jam staff, and it was just history. Like, I felt the energy, they got the music, they got me as an artist, and I feel like it's the best decision that I made.
Right. Cool, cool.